Welcome to 9 to Thrive, Lead Generation Uncovered with myself, Nikki Williams, business mentor, and Laura Burnett, tech geek and email marketing extraordinaire. And we're here today because we are passionate about telling you about online business, or the truth about online business, to support your lead generation, growth, and income. So today we are going to be telling you about the 10 mistakes not to make with email marketing. Okay, so building a list in your business is imperative. It's a no-brainer, but it's really, really important to keep these 10 key areas in mind to make sure your email marketing is phenomenal. Take it away, Laura.
Yeah, so the first one is sending a test email. Now, most people will think I'm telling you to send a test email to go fix your grammar and spelling, etc. But actually, that's not the reason I'm telling you to create a test email, although that can be a reason. It's just if people know me and are on my email list, they will know I never do that because that means you get me, basically. But you definitely need to do it to check the formatting. So, especially if you use certain email marketing platforms such as ConvertKit or ActiveCampaign, they are known for you might have bolded a piece of text, but actually when you send the email out, it's not bold. Or the size of that text is 16, but by the time that email goes out, it's size 12. So it's always important to send a test email out just to make sure it looks as it should. So that if it doesn't, you can go in and correct it. This literally just happened to me yesterday where someone sent me an email. This email I know has gone probably out to about 10,000 people. It didn't get checked. And there was lots of different areas in it which had like the smaller text size instead of the normal size. So 100% something worth doing.
I've done that. I'm going to
that too.
I fess up. In the early days, I did that. And now I'm pretty much obsessed about sending myself a test email to make sure like the colors are right, the font size is right, the bolds are right. And do you think it's more when you copy and paste from like a notes or something like that?
If you have to copy and paste from like anywhere, your website or anything like that, generally it can mess with the formatting. So I always tell people to put it into a notepad and then copy and paste it in, and sometimes that fixes it.
Yeah.
So yes, that's number one. Send a test email. And as a bonus, check your grammar and spelling if you want to. That's just not me, though. That's just who I am.
But as a proviso with that, though, I do think then when people are checking it through Grammarly, etc., it can take your voice out of it.
Yes,
like your users, your personality. So I think we can overcheck things. Do you agree?
Totally agree. Can definitely overcheck things.
Mm.
So number 2, only using templates. So we do like to use templates in our business now and again, but don't only use templates. And I think Nikki would back me up on that. Would just mean you're never in your email.
Well, there's two ways. I think when you receive a simplistic email from the person you've subscribed to, it feels more like they're writing to you. But if it's too structured and templated up and looking all a bit seamless, it doesn't feel personal. And so because we want to get people to think that they are being spoken to as an individual rather than 10,000 people, I think templates can take away from that sometimes.
Yep. And even when it's using templates as like scripts, if you're using one that's scripted and you've got, a lead magnet series that you've got off someone, they're brilliant, use them. But when it comes to stuff, it's like with your social media posts, isn't it? You get loads of social media copy templates out there, but you still need to get your voice in it.
Well, we offer it in the membership, don't we? So we offer copy examples, and I'd rather call it examples because it is a guide, and like we highly encourage people to use it as a guide only, but they need to add their unique self, the words they usually say, and just use it as a framework only. But sometimes you need those guides just to get over the starting line, just to get started. And allow it to flow, but then just get your confidence up, isn't it?
Yes, 100%. So that's number 2. And number 3, I see this happen all the time, and it's generally when you start enjoying email marketing, this is when it happens, and that is becoming a sales monster. And I know hundreds of people will fall short of this. Everyone falls short of it. And it's because we get into the routine of, I've launched a lead magnet, then I'm going to go, sell my next thing. And then after that, because you've enjoyed email marketing so much and you had so much success with it, you're like, right, next thing, right, let's launch another lead magnet. And actually what's happened is if you check back in your emails, you probably have not sent one piece of weekly email, which is non-salesy, with no sales and just giving advice in probably several months because you've just turned into a sales monster without realizing it.
Yep, I did it. I'm fessing up. This is a fess up session for me, really. This is like a email marketing therapy session with Laura. But these are all things that I made the mistake of at the start, because you do. Everybody does, because it takes confidence to know that you actually don't always have to sell to make sales as well.
That is
So
true.
it's trusting in the process that we are sharing with you, that you don't have to be a sales monster to sell. So as a sort of a no-brainer weekly email that goes out, whatever, and your sales are in addition to that.
Yeah, I would say, to be honest, you've probably only got, with your email marketing, if you want to make a good email marketing list, you've probably only got the capacity with your list to do one sale a month, a quarter, a big one.
Yeah. So
and
you don't,
because you're starting to tire it. Yeah, you're starting to tire your list out. So if you had a promotion every single month, which is like a week long, like a launch for a week long, it's going to get tiring. But if you weren't doing launches and you were just doing, one-off mini sales, you probably could do one a month. It just depends on what you're doing. But it's all about looking at the emails that have gone out. I remember with you, Nikki, I think we had a spreadsheet and we'd put like sales, advice, and we'd kind of out it with what type of email it was. And that's when we discovered there was loads of sales emails, but barely nothing in between, just giving advice. And that's a good way to figure out if you're becoming a sales monster.
Yeah. That's actually given me ideas of what we can add into the membership too.
Was it?
Yeah, that's really, really great. Yeah. So yeah, sales monster, no. And actually, to be fair, most of our audience don't like selling anyway. So
yes.
so this really helps them, sort of when they do it, they feel good about it, rather than, sales monster isn't good at all. Now, consistency, we touched upon that just now. I said about, you said a weekly email. Some people I know send many more emails than that. But I think, isn't it about the content that you're sending? You don't want to sort of dilute your messaging by sending too many messages, too many emails.
Yep, 100%. So you want to try and stick to the subject at hand of what your expertise is, what's your niche, what is that? Be consistent, sending out them weekly emails. The only time you really ever want to stop a weekly emails will be in a launch week. Sometimes I still let them go out though, even during a launch week. And I'm not going to tell you all the structure on this call, but if you follow the actual structure that we recommend on emails, you will still probably make sales from your weekly emails. But it is about that consistency. I always tell people, don't burn yourself out. So some people go, I'm going to send 3 emails a week. You're going to burn yourself out because you're not used to sending 3 emails. Master one weekly email, and then if you want to add more in, add more in. Or if you can't master one weekly email, go to fortnightly.
Yeah, but you don't actually need to do 3 or 4 emails a week. That's the thing. It's just, why pressure yourself into a marketing strategy that you don't need to do?
Exactly. The only time I would say you'd need more than one is if you are producing something like a weekly blog or a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Then I would have 1 email a week dedicated to that, so that you can still send your traditional, normal weekly advice email out. So you might have 2 potential in that. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So mistake number 5 is trigger words. And we did touch on that in our last podcast. Trigger words. What do you mean by that, Laura?
So trigger words, we mean things that when you send an email, and let's just say Gmail gets that email and it's looking at it, it's going to look at the subject line and be like, does this email deserve to go in the inbox, or is someone spamming this person? So trigger words basically trigger that little algorithm that thinks you're a spammer. So if you put stuff in there, such as the word free, sale, offer, anything like that, you can just search trigger words on Google and it will come up with tons and tons of them. Stuff such as weight loss, they kind of get triggered quite often. that's going to more than likely put you in the spam folder unless you have a good email reputation. So you will see some people sending it and it's not hit your spam folder, and that's because they've got a good email reputation more than likely. But when you're starting out with email marketing, 100%, trigger words are a no-no, and you never want to overdo it as well. We don't want to put tons and tons of like exclamation marks in either. That kind of triggers it off as well. So it's just all about avoiding them triggers. You can put them in your email, but don't put them in that actual subject header.
Okay, that's really, really interesting. Right, so personalizing emails. I find this really an interesting one because my inbox is full of people that accidentally don't fill out the coding right. So it says dear.
I did that once.
Oh, did you? Dear,
recently,
in brackets, name, or they've put surname. So dear Williams or something. And or they're not talking to you, that one person. They're talking as the whole. So you already feel like, it's not personalized. It's not as, you're a group of people and you're not having that connection.
Yeah, it's always it's easy enough to do. So you literally, everyone can do the here first name, but then also try and get it within the text. So you'll probably find somewhere in the text when you write it out, I usually find it near the bottom where you could put something then. Hope you found this email helpful, first name. Please just drop me a reply and let me know. And then it just adds, it reminds them, oh, yep, they're talking to me.
And it makes it more natural, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It does. Yeah. It makes it more natural. And even personalizing emails isn't just by putting the first name in. It can just be as simple as that when you're setting up your automations, you've got it a bit more personalized. So you might have 2 emails that go out, one for people who've clicked a link and one for people who haven't clicked a link. So it's just a bit more personalized that way. So if they haven't clicked a link, they're going to get an email saying, Laura, you've not opened this email yet. You've not clicked this link. You really need to click it. And they'll be sat there, oh my God, how did she know that? And it's because it's been personalized more to that experience that person's having with your list.
Right, so we're going to go on to number 7, mistake number 7 that people make in their email marketing. And this is a little bugbear for you, I know. And I don't know whether I think maybe we need to have a reframing of the word newsletter, because to you, newsletter is a bad word because of the history of newsletters. But we
newsletter, I always see a newsletter as an email with sections that talks about different things. You might have columns in there. Newsletters are what you see the big corporate sales companies using. You might see Asda using it, Sports Direct using it, Next using it. They're newsletters where they send them off and you've got all these e-commerce stuff all over it. But also when people are sending them out, and we discussed this in the last episode, didn't we? Where people have, here's my weekly podcast, here's my book of the week, and there's about 6 sections talking about 6 different things. An email should only ever talk about one thing. Like a social media post should. It should only talk about one thing, and that's it.
And that's because you lose people, okay? Yes. So this is about, remember, what's in it for them? What is the one point that you're getting across? What is your one solution that you're getting across? Not 10 solutions, 10 different ways of working with you, 10, we're just narrowing it down. And remember, we're always talking about simplicity. And this goes for, I think do you think there's a place? Because I was thinking about this. Newsletters are really good for teams. So, for example, we have a well-known grocery store and you've got maybe the internal email system with updates.
Yes, the internal one, yeah.
Yes, so that's where I can see it working really well, and an internal system, but not in a
work well in system. Memberships.
Yeah.
Memberships will work well. So if it was a membership email, you could do that. So it could be, this is this week's sessions, this is what happened last week, that kind would work in a membership email.
Because we've already got those leads. So lead generation, we're wanting to personalize much more.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so and talking about simplicity, we're talking about the length or how much content you're putting in your email. And I know we've discussed that a lot also about social media posts and how we need to mix it up a little bit, short and long form content. When you say 100%. To your audience too long. Don't make your email too long. What is too long?
I think it depends on the audience. So you kind of depend on what the audience is. But generally, I visualize it. So when I send the test email up, if I've got to scroll too much, then I know it's too long. And generally, that's when I'll decide if it's too long.
Okay.
So there's no like 6 paragraphs only or anything like that. There's no set rule on that. But you know when it's too long, when you've lost the audience's attention. So they're reading it, and actually you probably could have removed about 3 paragraphs and just got to the point. You know, there's all about storytelling. I get that. You need to storytell and build the anticipation up, but don't build it up for too long because you've just lost them.
Yeah, simplify it. What's your point? Get to your point, and where do you want to take them? Like, we don't want to, you know, some people just love writing. Well, do that as a hobby. Don't use it as your email marketing tool.
And it's about making sure it's like we said before, just one thing. Like, I think we had an email we were doing for a client the other week, and we had a look at it and we said we could have actually written 4 emails out of that one email.
Yeah.
There was 4 different mentions. That could be 4 emails. So it was too long. It needed splitting down. And then it gets bigger impact then. Because you'll think when you look at your inbox, we hate looking in our inbox as majority of people. You know, you start work maybe at 9 o'clock, you jump in your inbox. You do not want to sit there for an extra 10 minutes having to read an email. You want to have a look, skim read it. Yes, you might carry on reading it. You might just skim it. That's it, job done. You don't want to sit there for ages reading it.
It's kind of like even putting this podcast together or our podcast together. What we're doing is we're giving them little bits of information, but when they go through the client journey with you or the customer journey, that's when you give them more content or more information on that subject. So it's like tempter pieces, aren't they? So,
yeah, tempter ones. I often do it where if I've got something big to talk about, it often goes into a YouTube video. And then I'll use my email to talk about this YouTube video. And if they want to find out more, off you go to the YouTube video. So that can be a good tactic. If you've got lots of long things to talk about, turn them into YouTube videos.
Yeah, love that. Or a YouTube series so they can come and take little bite-sized pieces, because that's definitely the way to go. But that's another podcast altogether. So this is a really big one because many of my clients, our members, have done this and they've learned, because what they've done is they've made an incredibly brilliant lead magnet. They have gone through the launch of that email, that lead magnet. They've brought them onto their email list. They've done all of that hard work and then nothing.
They ghost their new subscribers.
Yeah, and that is not what we're doing here. The probability of converting your email subscribers into paying clients is so high that ghosting email subscribers or new subscribers to your list is one of the biggest mistakes you will be making in your business.
And we see it all the time, don't people will come and say, I have an email list. I've done nothing with the email list. So that's why we always make sure we teach you the whole tactics that we use the ACE strategy, which you'd find out in our membership about. And we teach that because it covers all the bases, the basic bases that you need.
And it works. And the thing is, why put so much effort into these wonderful lead magnets? And people say to us, oh, I don't think this lead magnet works. Well, when have you advertised it? What have you done with it? Have you followed up with these people that you've delivered that lead magnet to? It's about taking them on a journey, and email marketing is taking them on a warm journey. You've got these warm leads and you need to be doing something with them. So that's really important. Anyway, the next one is growing your list, leaving it stagnant and not moving up.
Yeah, so a lot of people will capture their emails. They'll launch that first email marketing. They do keep in touch with them, and they do send the, weekly emails and things like that. So you don't ghost your new subscribers, but actually you never bring in new subscribers because you're like, well, I've done my lead magnet. When really you want to be making sure that you are advertising your lead magnet. I always advise once a week if it's a current one. If it's a brand new lead magnet, you could launch one every quarter, a brand new one. But you always need to be growing your list because you will have people unsubscribe, and we throw a party when that happens. So you need to replace these people with more ideal clients. So don't just launch one email marketing, lead magnet. Get another one out there. Keep building, keep advertising, and keep building it up. The aim is not to have thousands and thousands. But the aim is to keep growing that list of ideal clients, get rid of the ones who aren't, and then keep growing it with the ones that are.
I love that. No, that's really, really good. I think we have covered a lot, well, 10 precisely, and probably a little bit more in mistakes that you need to avoid with your email marketing.
We have indeed. And just as a quick recap, so number 1, send a test email. The mistake is to not send a test email. Then number 2, only using templates. Number 3, being a sales monster. Number 4, not being consistent. Number 5, using trigger words. Number 6, I feel like a bingo caller. Number 6, not personalizing emails. Number 7, using newsletter style emails. Number 8, making your email too long. Number 9, ghosting them new subscribers. And then finally, number 10, not growing your list. So if you do want to find out more about how we can help you or where you can find us on social media, make sure to check the show notes and all the links will be in there for you. And again, make sure you subscribe and follow to make sure that you get notified of the next episode. And thank you very much for having a listen.